Dear students, we are now going to learn different data entry activities in WINISIS along with the options for export and import of data from and to your databases. You have already covered the tutorial on different basics of WINISIS, like how to create FTT, how to configure data entry worksheet, how to go to enter different kind of field selection table, and finally, how to go for formatting language to maintain and control your display of retrieved result. Now, before entering into the other modifications of the databases, you definitely, when your database configuration is over, you are definitely eager to wait to enter some data and to test the retrieval of data sets you have entered into the database. So, in this particular tutorial, we are going to learn how to follow some basic rules of data entry, then how to export your data set by using the global standard ISO 2709, and how to import from other sources into your database by using the same protocol, that is ISO 2709. Now, if we go into the slide, you see data entry is basically the core job of a database manager or the data entry operators or cataloger. You already know different kind of rules related to data entry worksheet configuration, how to add pickup list, how to pick different values for standard coded values from different content designator scheme. Now, before my suggestion is that before going for a full fledged data entry operation, you please go for a pilot study. That means you enter 50-60 records into your database, check different kind of operations related to field definition table, data entry worksheet, proper display of your retrieved result, then indexing of your records. Then you go for the full fledged data entry operation and create your final data sets. So, when you are actually entering into data entry mode, so the data entry mode you can have from the edit. In the toolbar you have the edit option. Under the edit option, the very first option is data entry. Now, the moment you click data entry, here you can see in the screen you will have a form like interface. There you need to enter your data sets. You can see in this particular font that some of the fields are attached with different kind of pickup list we have designed during our data entry worksheet, and we have defined some of the fields are repeatable fields. The repeatable fields are actually signed with a 1 mark. That means, this is the first occurrence of the repeatable field. If you press enter after editing or entering your first occurrence, then another field will be created and you can enter the second occurrence of the repeatable field. At the same time, you can also click this particular button attached with the repeatable field, and the moment you click this button, another empty field or empty occurrence of the repeatable field will be created, when you can actually see your second occurrence of the repeatable field. And if you closely look into this particular data framework, there are different options. In the second menu bar, you can have a blank record creation icon. The moment you click that blank record creation icon, it will give you a blank format where every empty field will be displayed. But please remember, if you are editing an already available record, then empty fields will not be displayed. So, there you have to click the magnifying glass icon here at the bottom of the screen. The moment you click this magnifying glass button, all the empty fields of an existing records will also be displayed, and there you can add your data. So, this is in a nutshell the different operations available with the data entry scheme. The moment your data entry operation is over, you can click this particular save icon and save your records for future use. Now, if we observe the another option after the save button, that is the drop down list. The moment you click this particular drop down list, you will be having lot of shortcut menu, from where you can delete a record, you can undelete a record, you can show empty fields, you can open a particular record, you can take the help of dictionary by using these shortcut menus. So, these are quite helpful. Data entry operations are going on, and after your operation is over, then you can move into the entering the next level of record or the next record. Now, as I told you that sometimes it create confusion amongst the data entry operator, that in case of an existing field, that is some fields are you have already entered there, but the moment I open it for editing, only the filled in fields are displayed, not the empty fields. So, as I told you, if it is not displaying the empty field, do not think that it is a software error. You click on the magnifying glass icon button in the bottom of the screen, then it will show the different empty fields also of an existing or available record. But if you want to make it a regular wear of WINISIS database management system, then there are ways through which you can do it. For example, you can set in this particular behavior or option in the system setting. You already know that how to tackle system setting. We learned it when we have discussed about the syspat.py file configuration. You do not have to know any specific values and parameters for the syspat.py file. Now, the moment you click the configuration, then system setting, here you see under the last tab, that is the display tab, there is an option called show empty records. So, if you check this particular options in the system setting, you do not have to click the magnifying button every time you are editing an existing record. By default, all the filled in field as well as the empty fields will be displayed in the editing mode also. So, you can handle this with the system setting options. Repeatedly you do not have to do the do not have to click the magnifying glass button. Now, if you consider up to this point that you now know that how to edit an existing records, and you also know how to enter a new record, how to save it. Now, the next question comes, then is there any data entry rules? Yes, there are some golden rules or basic rules that you have to follow in case of data entry operation. Particularly, as you know, bibliographic database management system is a very complex one. We are handling textual databases, and textual database management is much more difficult than numeric database management system, and that is why the banking automation is so much successful, because those people are dealing only with the numeric data and they do not have to follow any rigid standards there. But in case of a textual database management system like libraries and information centers or documentation centers, we have to follow some rigid rules related to data entry operation. Say for example, you already know how to handle repeatable field, how to handle different kind of sub fields. So, now we are going to study some of the basic rules of data entry operation. Now, please have a look in the screen. First thing is that as WINISIS by default using percentage sign as repeatable punctuation or repeatable symbol, if you want to enter percent sign in case of your data entry operation, you need to change this. By default, the moment you are entering percent sign, WINISIS is actually thinking you are trying to add an repeatable field, and if the field is not repeatable in nature, WINISIS will object you with the wrong data element. Now, how to handle this? The most important thing is that if you are sure that you are going to enter lot of data with percentage signs, then my suggestion is that you change in the syspat.py file the repeatable field delimiter, that is the percentage sign. You can do it by changing the value 8. In the last line you can see in the syspat.py file, if you enter 8 is equal to @, then the moment you place @ sign, WINISIS will think that it is a repeatable field, and you can enter different kind of data. Say for example, percentage of profit or percentage of loss, you can add there 15%, 20%, 30%, etc. But at the same moment you think that again @ symbol you are blocking. The moment @ symbol will be encountered, the WINISIS database management system will think this is basically that a repeatable field is coming on. Now, if we go into the last or second important note factors, that if you try to enter a particular field which has not been defined as a repeatable field, then WINISIS will object. So, the CDSIS for Windows is much more stricter in comparison with CDSIS for DOS in that case. In CDSIS for DOS, you can enter different occurrences of a particular field if it is not defined repeatable, but that you cannot do in CDSIS for Windows. You have to go back to the FDT, you have to edit the FDT, you have to change the nature of the field from the non-repeatable to repeatable, and then only you can enter different occurrences of a particular field. So, that is another golden rule in case of data entry operation. Now, if we go to the third set of rules, you see here that another important thing is that WINISIS allows you to take the help of dictionary, term dictionary at the time of data entry operation. For example, if you see this particular screen, say I am interested to add subject editor or subject descriptor rather in the tag 620. Now, the moment I click from the option menu, the moment I click the dictionary button, or if I click dictionary button right from here, the dictionary will be opening in the site. Now, there I can select the particular subject descriptor I want to use from dictionary. I will select and drag that particular thing into the box here, and I can press enter button to save it. So, it is a beautiful feature in CDSIS data entry activities. It is a kind of pickup list help for the subject descriptor. All the fields you want to go for the controlled vocabulary kind of things, you want to standardize data entry operation for the subject descriptor field or the title field, something like uniform title, etc. You can search term dictionary whether you have already cataloged that kind of document and whether you have already assigned that kind of subject descriptor or not. You search, you pick it up, you drag it into the subject descriptor box, and the moment you press enter, it will be saved there. So, it is a unique features, and you please use this particular feature of WINISIS data entry operations frequently, so that you can standardize the bibliographic data entry activities. Now, if we move to the next set of rules, you see that different other kinds of options are available. Say for example, if you want to delete a particular field, there is a very simple option there. You just go to that particular field and simply press from the keyboard the F2 button. The content of that field will be deleted. And if you have not added different kind of subfields under a field, it will not allow you to use different kind of subfield delimiters or subfield marker or subfield identifier. Say for example, I have defined a field called title in the 200 tag and have not defined any subfield under it. Now, at the data entry time, I cannot put data as caret A title proper. So, there WINISIS will object and it will say that caret A or subfield A is not possible to enter in the tag 200. So, there is only one option. You again go back to your FDT, edit the table, come to the tag 200, add pattern or subfield under say ABC. Now, next time when you will enter into the data entry mode, you will see that WINISIS is allowing you to enter data into different subfields. So, that is an important rule and you have to follow this. The next important rule is the space management. You please take a serious note about it, that when you are entering different subfields, say for example, the last line, if you concentrate on it, I want to enter the place of publication, name of the publisher and date of publication in the 260 tag, that is the publication distribution area. The proper data entry mode is subfield A, then place name Bombay, then subfield B Oxford University Press, and subfield C is the year of publication. There will be no space between the subfield marker or subfield delimiter and the data, that is the subfield A and Bombay, subfield B and Oxford, subfield C and 1990. So, if you press C, any kind of space in between the subfield and your actual data, then WINISIS cannot index it properly, and every time if you see in the term dictionary that the space will be regarded as a character and it will be sorted wrongly in different positions of the term dictionary. So, please make a serious note about the space management. we cannot give space between the subfield delimiter and the actual data we are entering into the data entry worksheet. Now, when you have finished your data entry operation, the next task is to click the save icon there. You see that is the floppy sign is there. Data entry window, you will find that particular item. The moment you click that particular icon, the data will be saved, and the moment it will be saved, it will be allotted unique master file number by the CDSIS. And if you see that master file number in the box, that means WINISIS successfully saved your data, and it will also give you a message the data has been saved. So, in this way you can go for different kind of data entry operations. Now, if you want to delete a record, what to do? Suppose one record you have already edited, and that is later on you realize that has been wrongly entered into the data set, you want to delete that particular record. The process is very simple. You open that particular record, you can either go to that record by browsing, or if you know the MFN number, you can simply put the MFN number in the data entry box, it will directly go to that particular record. Now, the moment this particular record is open, you select the options, shortcut message menu is already there, you know options, then under options you will find delete a record option. If you click delete a record option, you will see that it will give you a message at the bottom of the screen that the record has been deleted logically. That means the record has been deleted logically means it will not be available for searching purposes, it will not be available for printing and sorting purposes, but it is not physically deleted. If you want to physically delete that particular record, if you see that that particular deleted record suppose has got MFN number 15, and that MFN number will be blocked, because that record is only logically deleted, physically it has not been deleted. So, if you want to delete the logically deleted records from your database, there is only one way to do it. You have to export the entire data set into an ISO file, and you import that ISO file what you have exported into your record databases in the load mode. That means all the existing data will be deleted, and that new ISO file data sets will be entered into your record data set. Now, how it is happening? It is happening in this way. Say the moment you click or delete a record, it is logically deleted, and you when go for data exporting on the basis of ISO 2709 standard, it actually do not export the logically deleted record. So, in the exported data set, you will be getting only available records there. So, the moment I import that data set into the load mode, that means replace the existing data set, it will be replacing the existing data set and will enter all the logically present data set into your database. So, in this way you can get rid of the blocking of MFN number by the logically deleted records. So, that is useful utility in CDSIS for Windows, which you need to use when your database become huge, large in size, and there are lot of logically related records, MFN numbers are blocked. Then to get rid of that kind of situation, you can simply export it and import it in the load mode. It will replace the logically deleted records. Now, you already know that we have discussed that you have to export the entire data sets into ISO format. Now, possibly you are thinking that what is ISO 2709 format and what it does actually. Now, ISO 2709 is a global protocol through which we can export and import bibliographic data from one software to another software. Say for example, today you are using CDSIS for Windows. Now, you have developed a complete bibliographic data sets of your library. Now, you want to switch over to another software, say for example, Koha ILS. In that particular case, you have to export your entire data set into ISO 2709. Then you can utilize different software available, say for example, MarkEdit you can use to convert the ISO file into the mark file with the .mrc extension, and that .mrc file can now be exported into Koha very smoothly. So, CDSIS is very strict about adhering the rules given by ISO 2709. ISO 2709 is a global standard. First, this standard was developed by ANSI NISO as Z39.2. Then later on ISO adopted that Z39.2 as a global standard and renamed it as ISO 2709. And right from 1985, this ISO 2709 is acting as a base for exporting and importing bibliographic data from one record set to another record set. Now, ISO 2709 has a 4-layer architecture. Each record, it is basically exported into 4 layers. The first comes the label, then comes the directory, then come the data, and then the record separator. So, 2 records, suppose in the screen, if you see the screen, that it shows that exporting of a particular bibliographic file, it shows the 2 records, and here you can see the first, it is actually coming, the first 24 character positions are for the label, then comes the directory, then comes the actual data. You can see here under the different title, author, etc. And you see the finally the record is ending with a hash sign. So, this is the default record separator in CDS ISIS, and then again starts the new record. So, the moment you exported data into ISO 2709 by following this particular standard and protocol, you can import that particular record into any data set. Now, here you see how to export record in CDS ISIS. If you click the database menu bar here, you will be seeing that 2 options, export and import, along with the different other options. If you click the export option, it will give you a dialog box. In that dialog box, you have to select in which particular folder you want to save ISO file and what should be the name of the ISO file. Now, the moment you click OK, it will give you the next dialog box, and in the next dialog box, you can define here the field separator, record separator, subfield separator, etc. If you are not entering anything here, it will take the default values. In the next window, you see you can define here the first MFN to the last MFN, that is the lowest MFN to the highest MFN. CDS ISIS for Windows by default set a very high value here, say almost 1 to 1 million. Now, if you want to export only that MFN number 1 to 100, you just replace this particular huge value with the 100. So, it will export MFN number 1 to MFN number 100. Then if you want to use different kind of advanced techniques like reformatting, FST, etc., you can put it here, but in normal cases we do not need it. So, simply you click OK to export that particular ISO file into the work folder under CDS ISIS for Windows. So, this is the way how export is working. In the same way, the exported file can be imported into your data sets. In that particular case, you go to the database menu bar, there you select the import options, and the moment you click that import option, this particular dialog box will be coming. But before entering into that dialog box, let me give you a caution notice that there you will be find 3 options, and wrong selection of the options can damage your database. So, first option is the merge. What does it mean? It means that you have suppose 200 records in your data sets. If you select the merge option, so the exported record will be added after your existing record. Just to make things simple, let us imagine that you have 200 records and you have a ISO file with 100 records. So, if you select the merge option, it will start entering new records from the MFN number 201 to 300. So, you are getting 200 records available already in your database plus 100 record you have exported from the database. But if you select the second option, that is the load, that means your existing 200 data records or existing 200 bibliographic records will be deleted first, then the new 100 records will be loaded into that particular data sets. That is why the moment you select this load option and click OK, CDS ISIS for Windows give you a caution notice, database will be overwritten, OK or cancel. If you press OK, then your existing data bibliographic records will be deleted and new records will be entered. So, please be very careful when you are selecting the load option. And the third option is says the update option. If you select this update option here, say for example, on the basis of MFN matching rule, it will just check whether this particular record, whether the new record is matching with the existing record, and if there is any kind of change. If there is change, then it will be replacing the existing record, not the whole data sets. So, in this way you can go for different kind. This is the import dialog box you can see from here, and in this way you can go for different kind of data entry export import options. Another utility available in the CDSIS is the backup. There is no key or icon through which you can click and have a backup. Either you can take backup in the form of ISO file, but please remember there only the bibliographic data will be available, not your FDT, FST, then display format, etc. won't be backed up. So, my suggestion is that all the moment you create a particular data set, there are 13 to 14 files created by WINISIS. So, if you take the backup of the data folder available under WINISIS folder, then you can back up your records as well as your modified FDT, FST, print format and many other things. So, with this we are closing this particular tutorial. I hope that you already got an idea that how to go for standardized data entry activities and how to export and import records at the time of need. Thank you.